Good afternoon from St. Thomas. Today is day 5 aboard the Disney Treasure. We have already stopped in St. Thomas and done our excursion,
and cleaned up for the
day. So we will cut to the past us and share with you our excursion in St. Thomas. So check it out. So now that we are back on board, our excursion was the Caribbean Sea Safari Snorkeling and Beach Tour in St. Thomas, and this one was $74 for adults age 10 and up, and $49 for ages 5 to 9. And overall, I think great value for what you get.
There were some children.
There were.
But a lot of the children stayed on the boat.
For the snorkeling part.
And did not snorkel. Because it was windy, so it was a bit rough out there.
Yes.
Because I think this was probably the most intense snorkeling that I have ever done.
It was hard. The currents were very strong, so it was hard. But we did.
It's described as athletic active, and I think that's an accurate description for the tour.
Yeah. We did see a sea turtle.
We did.
Which was very cool. It did breach right in front of me to take a breath of air, so that was super cool to see.
She was very pretty.
Yes.
It was a lady, a green sea turtle.
Yes.
But it was a nice time. We went to Turtle Cove.
Yes.
Off of Buck Island.
Yes. The water, though, was super clear.
Yes, it was beautiful. The boat ride there was a lot.
It was hysterical.
We were lucky and were on the side of the boat that was not getting drenched. But with the wind, one of the crew members on board said the current captain of the Cruzan Breeze, who was driving, was a sailboat captain typically.
Yes.
So he was driving directly into the winds. So it was very bumpy. There was a ton of spray. We were across the boat and we were getting mist, but across the boat from us was getting absolutely drenched.
Everybody was soaked by the time we got to the first stop.
Right. By the time it was time to snorkel, we were wet anyway.
I had a puddle on my bag.
Yes, there was a puddle in the bag.
Yeah.
So, but again, that was a windy day. I don't know how it would be on a day that wasn't windy.
True.
But motion sickness wise, we did okay on board.
Yes, a lot better than Cinque Terre from
yes.
the Mediterranean as far as motion sickness.
It was like riding a horse. Yeah. Cinque Terre was going all the way around.
Yes.
This was riding a horse. But, so motion sickness watch, I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
If Cinque Terre is like a 9 out of 10.
Yes. I'd agree with that.
But so basically we had the crazy boat ride where everybody got wet. And then snorkeled and it was great. We saw a sea turtle. Another group saw a juvenile sea turtle, potentially. We did not see that. Mm-hmm. And then we got back on board and had a more leisurely boat ride over to a beach.
Yes. Potentially Frenchman Cove?
They said in the description Honeymoon Beach, but they very much did not say that. I think it started with an A, but I can't remember. But it was, they basically just put a rope across from the boat to the beach. And it was about a 5.5 foot depth to enter the water to get to the beach.
Yes. Because
there were some kiddos that were a little wary, and I think some adults. Some people did not even get out and go on the beach. They just stayed on the boat. But basically, one of our crew members was like, you don't have to sit down, you can jump, and then kind of touched my back, and then I just was like, okay. Peer pressure. Jumped in and it was over my head. And I am 5'2". So, and I was fine. But then we spent some time in the water, which was beautiful, very clear. The beach itself was pretty rocky.
It was.
The sand was nice, but the chairs that were on the beach were reserved for other folks.
Yes, not our tour group.
So there wasn't too much to do other than swim. And some people were sitting out. We're moving. I just looked out and saw we're moving.
Oh, we are
we're
moving.
Leaving. Goodbye, St. Thomas. But we just kind of swam a little bit and hung out. And then got back on board. But from the time you gave your snorkels back, the rum punch was flowing.
Yes. So they did have a cooler full of water for the entire trip.
Yes.
As well as a cooler that was full of Diet Coke, Pepsi, and
They
Sprite.
had a like a Gatorade, a water cooler that you push the button, dispense water. And then they had like a cooler with cans of soda.
But then after snorkeling, they had rum punch, they could do rum and Coke, they could do rum and Sprite, pretty much whatever you wanted to do with what they had on board.
Yes.
The rum punch, we saw them making it, and it was a whole bottle of rum and a can of Goya brand mango juice and a can of Goya brand passion fruit juice.
That is how you make. That is how you make the Cruisin' Breeze rum punch.
Yes.
If you want to make it at home.
We even asked toward the end what kind of rum they were using, and it was, to our surprise, rum that was local to the Virgin Islands. I think it was Cardo. I'll put it down below as we're talking, but Cardo rum, I think it was, which the guy said it was distilled in St. Croix, and it is bottled in New York. So, fun to have some local rum for our
we were like, oh,
rum
that's
punch.
Cool. Like, oh, local rum. Well, we're in St. Thomas. That's cool.
Yeah. And like I said, the rum punch was just flowing. I think we ended up having like 4 cups each because we got 1 to go. So we had like 3 on board, 1 to go because they're like, there's no open liquor laws in St. Thomas, so take a cup to go.
Some of my cups were refills of partials.
Yes.
But that's why we're hydrating now.
Yes. So yeah, great experience. I will also say that it was Chukka who was operating the tour, which is the same tour company that we used in Jamaica for our horseback riding tour.
Because that was basically I was confused. We hadn't seen any reviews of this tour for
Years.
like over a decade, basically. So they call this, if you look it up and you want to see reviews on their website, I think there are reviews up here. It is called it's on the Chukka St. Thomas Seafari Fast Cat Sun Fun Swimming, Snorkeling, and Boat Party.
Mm-hmm.
That is basically what we did.
But the weird thing is, if you book through their website, it is more expensive than booking through Disney.
Which is odd.
Because it's usually the opposite. So
right.
On their website is $89. Disney was $74.
Right. But that gives you a little more information. So basically, it's just, it was kind of, we were confused when we were booking, and we were like, we don't know. We almost canceled it just because we didn't know what it was going to entail. I'm glad we did it.
Yes.
I would recommend it for people who are very comfortable swimming. I would recommend it for people who are very comfortable snorkeling. I would not recommend it for people who are maybe first-time snorkelers.
True.
It might be okay on a day that wasn't as rough, but there really wasn't a lot of, this is how you snorkel information, if that makes sense.
I will say, compared to Grand Cayman.
Right. The last time we snorkeled on a cruise was in Grand Cayman on our honeymoon.
Yes. But compared to that one, Grand Cayman was just like, everyone like fly be free. This time was, you kind of have a guide.
Yes.
And we kind of followed as a group around the Turtle Cove trying to find turtles.
Will was that crew member. Will did a great job as the guide. He was making sure that people were safe and felt comfortable. There was a lady near us who ended up, she really wanted to see a turtle. And we saw one. We said that, which was very exciting. But he basically said, hold on to the lifeguard raft, put your face in the water and look at it, and then offered to escort her back to the boat to make sure she was okay.
Yes.
So they were very accommodating. I wouldn't recommend this for children unless they are very good swimmers.
Yeah.
Like very good swimmers.
Yes. We are already exhausted.
And potentially have snorkeled before, because I feel like there was more instruction in Grand Cayman.
There was a lot more instruction in Grand Cayman, but it was also not the current in Grand Cayman.
Right.
So
it's kind of like, it's hard to describe, if that makes sense.
But for $74, I think it was very much well worth it.
Yeah.
One of the cheapest, if not the cheapest excursion we've ever done. And for it to be snorkeling and beach time and unlimited rum punch,
yes,
that was pretty good. And to our surprise, all the adults at the end were handed a gift card to Diamonds International from Chukka for $100, and it is one per customer, and nothing in the store is $100. So you have to buy quite a bit there, but still you get $100 off, so that's not too bad.
It depends on if you care about Diamonds International.
True.
So basically, though, I mean, they were very, very nice. It was a wonderful tour. One of the other crew members studied conservation biology.
Yes.
Had a bachelor's in conservation biology. So it was fun to talk to her. She was very passionate about what she was doing in St. Thomas.
She was so
Super
excited talking to the kids, teaching them about coral.
Yes. So that was really cool. Everybody was very, very nice.
Yes.
So even if you weren't the strongest swimmer, I think you would still have a nice time. But like 5-year-olds, I don't know.
True.
I don't know that I would do a 5-year-old for the excursion that we just did. And there is a bathroom on board.
There's 2.
There's actually 2, but they are boat toilets that you have to pump. So basically, keep that in mind, that there is a bathroom on board. Because that's always something, like, I don't want to eat breakfast and have, like, tea or whatever, and then go on an excursion and be like, oh no, and not have a nice time, because I'm like, where's the bathroom?
Yeah.
There is a bathroom on board, too. So that's a comfort that isn't always offered.
True. And no one really talks about that. So
Right.
that information is not very public. So that was nice to see.
Yes. So if we're doing our best to share info about this excursion, because like we said, we could not find hardly anything. But the biggest takeaways, if you want to research further than what we've said, it's the Cruzan breeze, Cruzan, instead of the Virgin breeze. And it is
Chukka.
through Chukka.
Chukka.
So that's our advice to you if you want to do further research. Because there are some reviews outside of Disney.
Yes.
From people who booked outside of Disney to get an idea of, is this for us or not?
Yeah. But
we're tired.
Very tired. And that was basically our entire time in St. Thomas. We explored a little bit, really just popping into Diamond International. But
they were like, everything is expensive. And we said, okay, bye.
Yes.
Then we came back on board and we had some lunch in Marceline Market. Mm-hmm. There were some very good mashed potatoes today.
Very good mashed potatoes.
Which was surprising.
And then after lunch, we hopped on the Aqua Mouse.
Since we were already very wet.
And it was a 5-minute wait.
Yeah.
So now was the time to do it. And it was the same story that we had on the Wish, but I will still put a clip of that video right here. And that is where we are currently. Now we are cleaned up for the day.
Then we showered.
Yes.
And we are now clean.
Yes. And it is about 4:15, so time to start getting ready for dinner and maybe see some characters beforehand.
It's time to start getting ready to go out in the world.
Yes, for the evening.
There's always stuff to do on Disney Cruise Line.
Yes.
So we'll see where the ship takes us, I guess.
Exactly. I think tonight in the theater is a magician, but there's also the Sarabi Supper Club and the Choose Wisely show in Sarabi for adults.
We'll have to see.
So not sure what our plans will be, but we shall see. So Join us for the evening, and we will check in with you later. We are back in the room after our dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We saw some characters. We went to trivia since the last time we spoke.
We did.
We did 2 trivias, actually.
Disney Villains trivia.
Which was not our strongest subject.
We did fine.
We got 17 out of 20. And
which is totes fine.
Winning team got 20. It was actually a tie. And then the tiebreaker was a tie. So.
And they were just like, everybody gets medals.
Yes. But the other trivia we went to was Disney feature animation trivia.
Mm-hmm.
That one we got also a 17 out of 20, but the winning team got an 18. So
very close.
So close on that one. But after trivias and characters,
we saw Tiana and Naveen.
Yes.
When we say characters, we stood in line and saw Tiana and Naveen.
True.
Which was very fun to meet them together.
Mm-hmm.
Naveen just talked our ears off, and Tiana was like...
Tiana was there.
Well, Tiana just let him do his thing.
Yes.
Which is kind of what would happen.
This is true. Very true. But they were fun. And then dinner this evening was our second night in Plaza de Coco.
Mm-hmm.
Second and final night, unfortunately.
Yes. We're done.
Sad day. But Plaza de Coco was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
The show was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put clips of the show right here.
Hola, Papa Hector. The rest of the family is down at the cemetery setting up for Dia de los Muertos. But I wanted a moment just to honor you tonight. The rest of the family doesn't really get it. I mean, how do you really tell people you went to the land of the dead and had a whole adventure with your great-great-grandfather without them looking at you like you're crazy? That day changed my life. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you that I play music every day now. And I'm so grateful that Mama Coco shared her memories with us because now I know you're visiting our family every year in Dia de los Muertos. I promise, I'm gonna make you proud. Oh, speaking of music, I brought some friends along to play your honor tonight. A little help, amigos? Now that I'm allowed to play music, I wanted to show you some of my sweet, sweet skills. And this song feels perfect for Dia de los Muertos. Right, amigos?
Sí, es un clásico. ¿Listos?
Listos.
1, 2, 3.
Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry. For even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far. Remember me, each time you hear is a guitar. Know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again. Remember me. Oh no, the strings, they're all broken.
Pues, there's a perfectly good guitar right there.
That guitar?
That guitar?
Are you kidding me?
What's wrong with it?
Well, maybe.
Miguel, come on, mijo, ándale, anímate.
Alright. You think I should? No. Okay.
Do it again.
I don't know.
Just borrow me from the ofrenda. What could go wrong?
from the ofrenda.
Exactly.
What can go wrong?
Exactly.
Guys, marigolds! I haven't seen in years. This is awesome. Look.
What did I tell you about that song, chamaco?
No manches. Yeah, Mama Imelda.
Hola, Miguel.
Papa Hector.
The bless. Do you remember Poco Loco?
Un poquito, sí.
Bring it, mijo.
A little help, amigos? Alright, everybody! What color is the sky? I'm your amor, I'm your amor. You said it in. I'm your amor, I'm your amor. Where should I put my shoes? I'm your amor, I'm your amor. You say put them on your head. I'm your amor, I'm your amor. You make me un poco loco, un poquitito loco. The way you keep me guessing, I'm not again, I'm guessing. I'll count it as a blessing. But I'm only un poco loco. Hola everyone! So many people here to celebrate with us tonight. We're going to have great music, if I do say so myself. Great company, and of course, great food. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Please, allow me to introduce the lovebirds in Christ of these Dia de los Muertos. Mi Papa Hector y mi Mama Imelda.
Docencia, Juanita, sus ojos son bicolores. Con sus uñas el suelo reina. It's a family occasion. Sus trenzas son galante. Marcadas sus piernas están. Si yo no fuera tan feo, su amor tal vez me podría dar.
Recordar de qué color son los esos. Si no sé más comentarios, somos novios. Siempre novios. Somos
So many birthdays tonight, right, mijo?
Yes, do you remember what happened on your birthday?
Oh, that was crazy.
We tried to dance el jarabe tapatío and you almost fell right into the cake.
Well, that zapatelo was always too much for me.
That would have been quite a mordida.
Boy, do I love the song, though. Such a powerful song. You know the way that... Ay, Marisol. Me vas a matar otra vez. You're gonna kill me again, muchacha. Ay.
Hola Marisol.
Look at this guy. Look at him. Hey, come on, me. Wanna dance? How good? Tell me what you like. Right? There you go. There you go. Now let's have a dance.
¡Báilale como tú sabes, chaparrita!
chamaco. Watching you sing and dance and play music, it makes me feel so proud. You know, we never would have been here making music together or celebrating anything as a familia if it wasn't for you and that big heart of yours. I'm so proud to be your family, mijo. Ready, muchachos?
Siempre, compadre.
Échenle. I wrote this song for my daughter, Coco. And now, thanks to her, I get to sing it with my great-great-grandson. Because today, our family is full. Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry.
For even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart.
I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Recuérdame, hoy me tengo que ir, mi amor. Recuérdame, no llores por favor.
Te llevo en mi corazón, cerca me tendrás.
A solas yo te cantaré soñando regresar.
Remember me, though I have to travel far.
Remember me, each time you hear a sad guitar.
Know that I'm with you the only way that I can be. Come to you in my arms again. Remember me. Thank you all for coming tonight. We're so grateful all of you came from so many different places to celebrate Dia de los Muertos here in Santa Cecilia. But I'm not ready to say goodbye to you yet.
Miguel, your Papa Hector and I are always with you. Even if you can't see us, you take a little bit of us with you everywhere you go.
Everyone, in Dia de los Muertos, we like to honor our loved ones. So everyone here, think about the ones you love. Think about the ones you would like to honor tonight. And just like Mama Iveta, Papa Hector, and mi Mama Coco, we honor your memories tonight.
This has been the most wonderful anniversary.
Everyone, I give you my blessing to honor those who came before you.
To cherish the memories we've made here tonight.
And to share the music in your heart wherever you go. Say that I'm crazy for going home.
But last night it seemed that I dreamed about you.
When I open my mouth, looking nervous and song.
Every word and we all sang along.
To a melody playing on the strings of our souls, and the rhythm that brought us down to the bone. Our love for each other will live on forever. In every beat of my proud corazón, our love for each other will live Amigos, thank you for letting me join you tonight. It was a dream come true. Muchísimas gracias. Adiós.
Miguelito, wait. This is yours now, chamaco. A little help, amigos. Take it away, muchachos.
Thank you for coming tonight. Adiós.
But yeah, the show was by far best dinner show.
Yes, and that was including a little tech mishap. Hector's mic went out
At the very beginning.
immediately. Sorry, spoiler alert. Hector's there, and his mic went out almost immediately after he stepped on stage. But again, they were doing a great job doing this,
Sharing the mics.
sharing mics that were working. And then, because the show is so
Paced out.
paced out with the meal, that section was over fairly quickly, and then the tech issue was remedied.
Mhm.
So the performers did everything they were supposed to do, and it didn't affect the performance.
True.
It was fun. It was really a touching
Yeah. It was
evening,
very powerful, very emotional.
a little emotional. I was like getting a little teary at the end, and then I don't know if the man was a server.
I think he was the other head server in our section.
Okay. A man had Diego,
No, Dante.
Dante on a stick, and was beaming and prancing Dante through the restaurant.
He was so excited.
And it was like, wow, this is his moment.
Yes. But yeah, show was absolutely incredible. Way better than Frozen as a whole. The Coco restaurant just kind of blows Frozen out of the water.
It was a really strong storyline.
Yeah.
And throughout the 2 evenings in the restaurant.
That's true, because they tied together very well.
The story in the first night was, we are preparing for our celebration in 3 days. And they said in 3 days, which was how long it took us to get back to the restaurant.
True.
So then this evening was the celebration. So the story carried through. It was odd a wee bit that Miguel's parents disappeared from the world. They wrote that into the story as everyone else is at the cemetery. But I wanted to honor you. And then Hector appears and stuff. So it was written in well. The cast was reused in different ways. But it was just a really good show.
Yeah. For sure.
And kudos to the mariachi men.
Yes, they were fantastic both nights.
And seemed to be living their best lives.
Yes, they were beaming with joy.
Yeah, and they were waving and smiling at people, and it was nice to see them have a nice time.
Yes.
And
yeah.
food was good.
Food was a lot better this time than it was the first time. And it was good the first time too. So, salsa. Not sure what's happening with the salsa. Because tonight's had flavor. First night's really did not.
The first night was fairly bland. Not fairly bland, it was bland. But tonight's salsa had a little more punch to it. It wasn't anywhere near spicy, but it had some good flavor. So we were pleasantly surprised because I was worried it was going to be the same salsa.
Yeah. Still not like exceptional salsa, but a lot better than
It was totally fine.
Yeah. Appetizer wise, we both ordered the chicken enchilada, and I ordered the empanada, and you ordered the guacamole for us to share.
Yes.
So, enchilada, what did you think of that?
I thought it was great. I would have been happy with it as like an entree portion.
It was
basically
fairly large.
It was huge for an appetizer, but it was very good.
I agree. The chicken was fairly moist. The sauce was very flavorful. The tortillas tasted really like fresh too.
Yeah.
Yeah, would definitely recommend getting the enchiladas. My empanada was very flavorful. The sauce with it was fantastic. So, would get those two again. And the guacamole.
The only thing about the guac was that it came with 2 blue corn tortilla chips in the guac, and they were soggy.
Yeah. Which is weird presentation, but
I think if they had put it on a small plate with the chips around it, that would have been great.
More than 2.
Except that we had the bowl of chips, so we really didn't need it at all. So that was the only thing. It was kind of like, get the soggy ones out of the way and then eat with the stuff from the table.
Yeah. But the guac was very good.
But yes, the guac itself was very good.
Especially for the guac that's being made in like a mass batch. It was done very well seasoned, and yeah.
It had good flavor. And then we had entrees.
Yes. So what were your entrees?
I had the seafood tomato rice.
Yes.
And the stuffed poblano pepper. And both were very good. My preference between the two was the pepper. The pepper was very, very good. But it was stuffed with basically like cheesy rice. So there was really nothing not to like about that. And that was one of the vegetarian options. And the seafood tomato rice, it was basically kind of what it sounded like. It was basically your Mexican rice in kind of a little circle stage for the seafood that was placed on top. And the seafood was cooked well. It was just sitting on top. So it wasn't as cohesive as the pepper.
True.
So, but again, I would have been totally happy just with my guac, my enchiladas, and the pepper. But I wanted to try the seafood rice as well.
True. I ordered the carnitas and the corvina, which we learned after the fact that the corvina is a new change to the menu, because it used to be the sea bass, and our main server Rupesh said that this was changed 2 sailings ago. So this is the second sailing that it has been the corvina, and by far the corvina was way better than the snapper night one. It was not fishy at all. Really, really similar to what I expect the sea bass was.
Yeah.
It was just buttery. It was real good. With that being said, though, I do think I preferred the carnitas as a whole.
Well, that's more authentic.
Right. More fitting for the atmosphere. But those were very good. Again, the pork was not dry at all. The rice with it was fairly, I don't want to say bland. It was just like a nice white rice with cilantro and lime. So very light. But the carnitas was served with onions and guac and a different salsa.
Mm-hmm.
A third salsa that this restaurant has.
New salsa unlocked.
Yes. And it also came with a side of tortillas to make little tacos for the carnitas. Mm-hmm. So would highly recommend the carnitas, and would highly recommend the stuffed pepper.
Mm-hmm. And then for dessert,
yes,
I had the churros. They were not the best churros I have ever had, but they were fun. So I would get them again.
They were better than the ones
they
at
were
1923.
They were exponentially better than the ones at 1923 on the Wish.
Yes.
because they were not rock hard. But I was happy. At that point, that was just the
Emotional time. And
well, that was just the cherry on top of the huge sundae I'd already had
true.
throughout the whole meal. So it's not like I had been saving room and waiting. Oh, please, churros. So
Very true.
basically, they were good enough.
Yeah.
They just paled in comparison to the pepper that I ate the entire thing.
True. I ordered 2 desserts. I ordered the chocolate cake. I don't remember what was specific about it. I'll put everything down below as per usual. But that one was very, very rich and very, very dense. So if you like chocolate, it was very good. But after a big meal, I could only have like 1 bite, and that about did it for me. The other dessert that I wanted to try was the creme brulee cheesecake, but this one was different from other sailings because this is a cappuccino creme brulee on top of the cheesecake. So I do think the original one's better. I will say that.
Well, yeah, because who wants a coffee-flavored dessert?
The cappuccino flavor was fairly nice, but I think the texture as a whole was a bit off on this one compared to the original creme brulee cheesecake.
I'm being sassy because the creme brulee cheesecake is one of my absolute favorites.
Yes.
So, here on the Disney Treasure, they have ruined it for me by making it cappuccino. But I had my churros, so I was all good.
Yeah. So, overall, fantastic meal. I think probably our favorite meal of the sailing.
Yeah, and our table mates were really thrilled. One said that the steak was better than the filet in 1923.
Oh, wow. I missed that.
More tender, and I said, because he said it was the best steak that he'd had on the entire cruise, and I said, better than the filet, and he said, yeah, it's just way more tender, and just, yeah. I was like, wow, okay.
I will say that our entree choices
were not the
well,
recommended ones
yes.
by our server today. He recommended the chicken mole, but I'm not a fan of mole sauce, and then the steak.
Yes.
Those were his 2 entree recommendations. But our head server, Charm, recommended
the seafood rice and the
seafood
carnitas.
rice and the carnitas. So everybody's tastes are different, but it was great.
Yeah.
But now it's 10:07, so we gotta run if we're gonna try to see Choose Wisely,
Yes.
the Indiana Jones adventure.
So we'll put a clip of that right here.
What? Well, where is he? He's not on the ship? He's stuck on the Aqua Mouse. Not again, Sammy! Well, what are we gonna do? We don't have an act.
We do!
Don't worry, we're here to help. We're professionals.
Yeah, Coriander and I, we heard your headliner couldn't make it. And darn, that's a real shame. Lucky for you, we've got a great act. We've been working on it for days. Years.
Baby, I don't know you. Trust us.
You don't have a choice.
You're right. Okay, what's your act?
We thought you'd never ask! We're going to take you on all 5 adventures of the greatest archaeologist in the world, Indiana Jones!
Oh my gosh! I'm obsessed with Indiana Jones! That fedora, that mischievous smirk, that... whip!
But there's a twist!
You get to call the shots!
Give me the whip!
Throw me the idol! There's no way I'll make that jump holding the heavy idol, so throw it to me!
Choose wisely!
Okay, teacher, the choice is yours. What should Indy do? Does he throw me the idol to the whip, or does he keep the idol and make a jump for it anyway? Make the jump. Okay, make the jump. Here we go.
Nice try, pal. You're not getting this. It belongs in a museum.
I'm darned.
You warned me! I'm not gonna make it. This was a bad choice!
That's it. That's your act. No,
that will do it for us for today. So tomorrow
day.
is a sea
Tired.
day. Yes, today was a very busy day, very early start. So time to get some sleep. Tomorrow we can relax a little bit for our sea day. And yeah,
That'll do it.
see what tomorrow has in store for us. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
See you real soon.